Martinez. I think all in all, when he looks back at this, I think he'll be able to take some things out of that.
Yeah, Martinez doing a good job with the gutsy performance there and finding his way to not give up the major decision, get to a decision. But here we go at 197 pounds with Cole Urbas of Penn and Max Dean of Penn State. It's going to take me a little bit not to say Cornell for Max Dean, having seen him wrestle against Penn over the last few years in a Cornell singlet.
Cole Urbas qualified for the NCAAs back in 2019 at 197 pounds. He was 21-13 back in that season. The state runner-up in his senior season in high school as team captain. His older brother Carl wrestled here also. He's enrolled in the Wharton School, so you know he'll be making a lot of money in a few years.
Cole is a fantastic student as well as a great wrestler, so we're excited to see what his future will look like while at Penn, but even after he graduates from Penn as well. And Max Dean, obviously, at Penn State now, another great school, but coming from Cornell, great school. Well, pretty good school, we would say, for you're a Penn person.
I would expect nothing less from the Penn graduates. Lowell, Michigan is his hometown. He wrestled there in high school. Another kid who was undefeated his last 2 years, 22-0 as a senior, 46-0 as a junior. He did wrestle against Penn back in 2019. He beat Joe Hayop twice, 8-2 on February 10th and 4-0 on March 4th while he was at Cornell. So he's very familiar with the Penn program.
Max Dean, a very tough wrestler. As you can see, short, really strong, compact wrestler, holds really good position, high rate of attack, constantly hand fighting very, very hard, looking to get to the legs. Cole Urbas doing a good job so far hand fighting with this very old junior in Max Dean.
When you have a taller wrestler against a shorter wrestler, where's the advantage?
You know, each guy has an advantage in a different way, right? So when you talk about a taller wrestler, they have that leverage and they have that length. If you're a shorter wrestler, you get in on his legs, for example, they can reach over and lock in your crouch much easier than obviously you can to them. At the same time, one of the ways you neutralize a taller wrestler is you get him up in the air. Well, if you're shorter, you lower center of gravity, it's much easier to get a guy up in the air. So Max Dean right now got on a good leg attack, wants to get this leg attack back up in the air so he can neutralize that length of Cole Urbas. You see him lifting up, and working his way to the takedown. Gets the takedown there. 30 seconds to go here in the first period.
So Cole Urbas trying to get out of that, get that single point for an escape before the end of the period. Meanwhile, Max Dean holding on, trying to build some riding time and keep that 1 point from logging to the Penn side. Urbas trying to get to his feet, trying to push the hands away, but can't, and looks like it'll stay this way, and does. Max Dean with a 2-0 advantage going into the second period. Urbas, a sophomore from Port Matilda, Pennsylvania, which is ironically right around the State College area. So he was one of those guys that decided, nah, I don't want to wrestle at home. I want to go get a better degree, right? I know the Penn guy's going to tell me that. So
Cole Urbas in high school went to David Taylor's club. David Taylor, obviously a phenomenal Penn State wrestler and phenomenal international wrestler as well. But David Taylor trained wrestler in his high school career. We see Max Dean in deep on a shot here, but Cole Urbas using that leverage, as we talked about. Taller guy, you can keep your feet on the mat, you can use that leverage to fend somebody off.
Dean got that escape early on in the period, so we are sitting at a 3-0 advantage for Max Dean here in bout number 9 at 197 pounds. Now we have a stall warning issued to Cole Urbas.
So Dean in on a deep high crotch here in a crackdown position. And again, as we just talked about, longer guy finds his way to lock in the crotch here. Urbas probably trying to cut that corner. Dean trying to get that arm through across the body to the other side. He's got this leg up on the shelf here on the near side. That's going to put him in a more dominant position to try and put Urbas on his back. But right now, it looks like we're in a solid stalemate position. Official
very
starting to warn of a danger
position for Urbas, but there's the 2 points for the takedown. It was certainly better than it could be. It seemed like he was rocking back and was in danger of getting back onto his shoulders, which would have been extraordinarily problematic.
So Dean here has his foot captured. He's looking for a bent leg Turk, but not quite able to get it. Locks a cradle. Urbas able to break the lock on that.
So as far as the match is concerned now, Penn State with a 16-10 advantage. This is the 9th bout of the night. Penn needs the win here to have an opportunity to win the overall match. A 9-point or more advantage for Penn State would be insurmountable going into the heavyweight. So that's where we sit as we are almost done with the second period. It's going to be incumbent on Cole Urbas to find a way to eliminate this 5-0 disadvantage in essentially 6, as we have a potential point for riding time at the end of this match, as Coach Reyna wants to have a word with the official.
And to your point, Penn State wins this match. The dual meet is officially over, no matter what. Not sure what the question was there at the front table, but here we go to the third period.
The referee was satisfied. He walked away smiling, so it wasn't too acrimonious, I suppose. So here we go with period number 3.
Urbas chooses top in this third period here.
And here we have another caution. Is again trying to get the wrestlers in position and not shoot out too quickly. So Urbas is going to try to ride out, at least to eliminate the riding time.
Urbas very tough on top with a claw ride. We talked about claw ride earlier for one of the Penn State wrestlers. But Dean up to his feet. He's got hands and control here. Urbas trying hard, but not able to return him back down to the mat. Dean 6-0 lead.
But now that riding time is back under a minute, but it's problematic. Now the problem becomes you got to score. You're down 6-0. You've got to find a way to get at least a takedown and then hopefully get him on his back to get some back points, because with 1:22 left, well, and now it becomes really a daunting task, as another takedown for Max Dean puts him in a commanding 8-0 advantage.
And at this point in the match, you can see that Max Dean's pace is really starting to overwhelm Cole Urbas. Urbas did a good job of hand fighting and battling in that first period, but I think it took a toll on him, and you're starting to see a little bit of that here in the third period. Caution there on Dean. He came down a little bit hard on top as he was getting set.
You can see physically Dean is a very chiseled athlete. He's a very strong wrestler at 197 pounds. As you mentioned, being the shorter wrestler, he's more compact, and that strength is certainly going to do him well here in the third period as he tries to finish this out. He's now trying to find a way to lock in a cradle to get a pin or at least some back points to, well, he's going to probably win the bout, but now he wants to pad his resume a little bit.
Yeah, if you're Penn State here, you just want to get a solid win. You've got a major pretty much secured at this point in this match. Dean and the Dean family are known for this bent leg Turk, where they reach back, catch the ankle, kind of do a bow and arrow type movement. His brother Gabe Dean was an absolute monster with that on top, turned a lot of guys with that bent leg Turk. But we see Max here transitioning from that bent leg Turk to a high figure 4 on the leg. Really just dominant on top here.
So another stall and a point issued to Max Dean to give him a 9-0 advantage as we get into the final 10 seconds of bout number 9, which is going to be a major victory for Max Dean, the #1 wrestler in the country and defending, well, not defending NCAA champ, because he didn't wrestle last year, but he's certainly going to be a dangerous one when we come to the NCAAs. Final score 11-0. Max Dean with a win. A major decision, 4 more points for Penn State. The Nittany Lions now the #2 team in the country with an insurmountable 20-10 advantage. As we go into our final bout of the evening, it is the heavyweights.
And it looks like we may not have a bout here. I think I just watched the Penn State coaches signal that they're going to forfeit.
It was scheduled to be Greg Kirkliet, the #4 heavyweight in the country.
A little bit of confusion here.
Ben Golden waiting for an opponent for Penn. Ben Golden, another Floridian.